Welcome to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Kay Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. And I have Lauren. Lauren is so amazing. Lauren is an accomplished graduate of Central State University, one of Ohio's premier historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs. Lauren is currently a full-time legislative aide to assistant minority leader, L. Jarrell's, and Lauren's ambition doesn't stop there. She has her sight set on law school and dreams of becoming an attorney dedicated to advancing justice through the legal system for all. So let's, come on, Central State's in the house.
Hello,
Centralians. I'm a Central State University alumni as well. So I had to get Miss Lauren on.
Shout out to the Centralians.
Shout out to the Marauders.
The Marauders too. Thank you, Miss Kay Willis, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Yeah, so, okay, you guys, so Lauren is a native of Bedford Heights, Ohio, and it's the suburbs outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And she decided to go and graduate from an HBCU. So let's go ahead and talk about that. What made you all the way from, and I'm from Northeast Ohio as well. Shout out to Cleveland. Bedford's in the house.
There we go. Bedford's in the house. Shout out to Bedford High School.
Yes, Holly Berry alumni. Shout out. So what made you go to Central State University?
So initially, I graduated Bedford High School and went to Loyola University of Chicago. So prestigious Jesuit institution in Chicago. And I just experienced homesickness as well as feelings of not necessarily belonging there. I had, some experiences, some racial experiences that we don't have to touch on. But I wanted to, from high school, go to HBCU, and I got accepted into Howard. Shout out to Howard. But, financial aid, as all HBCUs do, kind of was a little, non-communicative. So took my sights to where the money resided, and then realized that just because that's where the money is does not mean that's where you're, comfortable and where you're seen. And so very intentional when I came back home, I, dropped out from Loyola and said, I'm going to HBCU. My high school principal, Samuel Vaughters, actually graduated from Central State as well. So when I was in high school, he brought the band and the dancers, and had the whole high school filled with all of this life. And I was like, oh, Central State is kind of lit. And so that image popped back in my mind when I came back to Bedford, and I said, I'm gonna apply there. And so applied, got in, and was back on the college campus that fall. So that's how I ended up on Central State's campus. And honestly, the best decision I could have made, to be honest. Like when I went to Loyola, it's like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. I want to branch out and, leave Cleveland, leave Ohio. And I was like, no, maybe not. God had different plans. Yes. And I'm happy that I was redirected into a place where I've seen community and seen people that looked like me. And so we were able to thrive together.
Yes. So you got to see community, people that look like you. Your high school principal, he brought the band all the way up, and you got to see all of that. So between that, the difference, how was their band versus Central State band, Loyola's?
It makes you even question if they had a band. I really can't speak to whether or not the vibe is completely different. I'll say that. Central State will definitely have you in your seats rocking backwards and forth, and you're just at a game. Where I went to a few Loyola games, and they were cool, but you weren't necessarily there for that. You were there for the sports and the mascot. But that was definitely a stark difference, and playing songs that you actually know. So
yes. So going to Central State, once you told your parents you wanted to go there, were they like, no, you need to stay in Chicago, or were they just all the way on board? Like, girl, go ahead.
Well, my parents were supportive because, one, I think that they missed me while I was in Chicago. And so when I said, I'm coming home, it's like, okay, we're ready. Like, come on. But when I decided to go to Central, they were super, like, you know, proud. I think it was just the fact that I'm first generation college student.
Yes.
So I was still figuring it out, and they were figuring it out right with me. And so wherever I decided, I feel like I would have had the full support. I think additionally, the fact that I had a good scholarship and it was less to pay out of pocket, they were like, oh, go. Because, you know, I definitely got a good scholarship to go to Loyola, but it was still a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. So part of the reason why I left as well was because I felt bad. My parents were, you know, paying and stuff like that. And so when I went to Central, my dad sat me down, and this is probably the only thing that he said that I was kind of like, oh. He was just like, you know, if you go, like, respectfully, you're on your own. Like, you're going to have to figure it out and pay for it on your own. And I said, okay, I got it. It has to be done, and it's going to get done. And here I am, and it got done.
And it got done. Shout out. Yes. Come on, Dad. He said, you're going to do it, and you did it.
And you did it,
Yes. So what life lessons did you learn at Central State? Because you went there freshman to, and then you graduated. Yes.
Yeah, so I went there fall of 2018. I graduated spring of 2022. I feel like I learned how to just take a step back. I feel like I was like a super busybody in high school. When I tell you I was the president of every org, I was the senior class president. I did it all. And when I went to Central, I said, you know what? I want to take a step back. I want to just kind of like enjoy being there, participating in things without having to run these things. So I really took a backseat for a little bit. I think the busybody nature still came out in different ways, but I really just enjoyed going to events. I enjoyed putting myself out there. I didn't really party in high school. I know a lot of my kind of peers, they would go out and party and do these different things, and I was a homebody. You know, I had parents that didn't play that as well. Yes. And so I didn't go out in college and wild out as some people do, but I definitely went to parties. I had a good time. I met different people. So I feel like the life lessons that I learned was the balance between being on your game, but also enjoying yourself and living life and just meeting people and not really being super stressed out and letting things stress you out. So I learned how to navigate multiple things, balance school, balance a part-time job. Wow. I worked at Chipotle. I put myself through college working at Chipotle. And
come on now.
Yeah, so I worked at Chipotle and had a great tuition reimbursement program. And then I got a stipend to work at our campus's library. So just really how to be a boss person and navigate all these different things while still being alone. Like I was 3 hours from my house, from my parents. So while that was still closer than 6 hours, it wasn't like I just had the support system to just get in the car and drive 30 minutes and go cry. It was like, okay, this might have happened. How do we problem solve? How do we pivot? And how do we be okay? Because at the end of the day, you have to be okay. So I think I learned a lot of self-sufficient skills, and it was great.
So you learned how to balance as well. So there's someone out here listening to the show, and they want to go to school, you know, and I love that you said you went to Loyola, it didn't work out, then you went to Central State. So as someone out there, they might not even be, you know, they might be non-traditional. And you're telling them, hey, I balance this. What other advice can you give to them to help them so they could feel like you said, I love you wasn't 30 minutes away. You couldn't just go home and cry.
Right.
But like you said, honey, you said the job had to get done and you got it accomplished. Yes.
If I could impart any wisdom on anyone else, it's honestly take the leap to just do it. Good. And to rest on faith and then yourself. So God is going to put you in the position to do the things that are supposed to happen at the time. And so you can struggle and, you know, question and be upset for all these different reasons. But when you take a step back and release control, that's when the beauty comes. And so like I had to release control and say, and release the fear of people's expectations, because when I dropped out of college, and I say dropped out of college instead of just left and all this pretty terminology, because it was exactly what it was. I did not leave the house for like 4 or 5 months, and my mom can tell the story. I felt so uncomfortable in my skin to be in my hometown, not where all my other peers were that decided to go to college. Like I felt like a failure. Like, wow, this didn't work out for me. And I really had to take a step back and realize it just didn't happen for me at that moment.
Right.
And so I had to understand that just because it didn't happen at this moment doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. And so I just had to get into a different bag and pivot. And so that really pushed me to find ways to do well, and I found Central. And so I really doubled down on not having to be successful, but making that up to myself, because there was a time when I didn't feel like I was doing good. And so it was kind of forgetting the haters, forgetting anyone that might have an assumption or a thought, and to only think of yourself, because that's who is going to be there at the very end of the day. And so I realized that when you're young, you're just always thinking of every other thing and every other person, but the only person you live with is yourself. So
come on now. Yes. So I love that you said, honey, put God first. You got to put your faith. And it didn't happen at the moment. You did take a break away. And then it was kind of like peer pressure for a minute. Like, wait a minute. All my peers, they're doing this, and, comparing. But then you got out the comparison. You got with God, and he got you through.
I know that's right.
And, honey, like you said, the faith, forget about the haters. Forget about them. So that's a good message for you guys out there. Miss Lauren is telling you guys, look, forget about the haters. Just go. If God is telling you to do something, do it.
Do it.
And it doesn't matter if you think your time is off, his time is on time. God is on time. So you may think you're off, but he's on time. So all of that was working together for the good. All things work together for the good. So all of that was working together. Come on now, Lauren.
So you better put it together, Miss K. Come on.
Don't map it out. Yes. So when you were at Central State, you mentioned you worked at Chipotle. They had and that's good to know that they have a tuition reimbursement.
If you work at Chipotle for over, I believe, maybe 60 days, you're eligible for tuition reimbursement. And so you do have to pay for it, but then you submit your paperwork to the website that Chipotle provides for you. You wait a few weeks and they send it back to you. And so I got reimbursed in my first semester of college $5,000.
Wow, that's really good.
It was a great amount, especially considering how much I was paying in-state tuition at Central State. So it helped out a lot.
Yes.
That's the amount of someone's refund check.
Yes.
And so I was able to get that, and I lived, not like I lived like I was partying, but I was able to go in the bank and definitely help for my next semester. So
that's awesome. So you guys, shout out to Chipotle for having a tuition reimbursement program.
Yes, and I would also say look into other places that you may work, because other places do have this similar type programs, and some places pay up front. I wish I would have had one to pay up front, but I'm thankful for the reimbursement. But.
Yes. So that's really good. And then you had work study?
I did. I was eligible for work study, and so I worked at our campus's library, and I was blessed to get the stipend where I got paid hourly by the university, but also got a scholarship.
That's good.
Yeah, so I was blessed to find that, and that just comes from going and asking questions and seeking out these additional resources, because it was one year that I was on the brink of not being able to pay, and I just called and said, are there any additional dollars? I'm an XY student. I have this GPA. Is there anything that you all could do? And a woman said, there is actually a scholarship, and you would have to work at the library. And I was like, are you kidding me? Is that a bad thing? I love the library.
Yeah.
I love the library. To this day, I will be in the library and be a librarian. So I enjoyed that. I was able to just do homework. I was able to do my classwork. And then I would, file books away. I would go pull books for our librarians. I would give tours. It was just random stuff I would do, but I really enjoyed it.
Wow. Is that still what, Hallie Q?
Hallie Q, yes. Hallie Q Library.
Did they renovate that?
They did. Oh, it's a beautiful library now. Yes.
I'm going to have to go there. Next time at Central State University, I'm going to have to go to the library. That's so awesome. So you guys heard from Lauren. So don't get discouraged even with their finances. Ask questions. Because if she didn't ask, then she would never know. And that could have been something she could have said, I'm going back home. I can't do this. So just ask, check into your employers and see if they have that tuition reimbursement. I know the state of Ohio does tuition reimbursements too. So if you work for the state of Ohio, they also have. Well, it's going to depend if you're under the union as well. So the union offers tuition reimbursement, and it just went up. The Union dollars went up for that, honey.
Oh, I gotta check into that.
Yes. So yes, definitely look into that. Now we mentioned it a little, but did you have any ups and downs in college that you was ever like, you know what? I'm about to go drive that 3 hours.
There has definitely been a few moments where I was just like, wow, this is crazy. But the thing is, and people that know me in real life know that I call myself road runner low, because it's nothing for me to get on the road and drive 3 hours. I'm making it to every birthday party. I'm making it to every function. I told my family, if you invite me to something, I will be there. Just make sure you extend the invite, because I will be there. So times where there were like rough moments, I would probably say just I would say like maybe like family things, and you're just like, oh, I'm so far away, I feel so far removed, like I need to be present with you all. My parents are divorced now as an adult, so around that time it was, everyone's parents go through stuff, so I just feel like it was a lot of like tense moments where I'm like, okay, you guys are doing a lot, maybe I should either be present, or maybe I should need to stay down here. So I think that the 3 hour difference definitely helped me to be able to focus on my studies, because I tell them, you guys stress me out. I don't know if I could have made it. But on campus, if there were any events, one time I will say this, my brother had an incident with someone at his job, and they called him like a slur.
Oh, wow.
And literally like 9:30 p.m. I remember vividly, me and two of my friends were in the parking lot. I think we like Marco's, and I'm on the phone with him, and he's upset, and I get upset if my brother's upset. And so I'm just like, wow, do I have to drive 3 hours to go and check these girls? And so like that was the moment immediately I can think of, like I was mentally on the way, but he told me to calm down, so I did not have to hit the road.
Good. Come on, thank you, brother. Yes. Calm down. That is good. Okay, now. So even with that, like you said, you guys had some challenges, but you still got through it. Your brother, he said he had to calm you down. So if you guys are in school, stay encouraged, be encouraged. And no, there are going to be ups and downs, but keep it pushing, or even get a friend. I'm pretty sure you had some friends on the yard that helped you out as well. Yes. And
still do to this day. I think the thing that people say, and I think we think of it as cliches, is that you meet these lifelong friends.
Absolutely.
But that is 100% true.
100% true.
My roommate from freshman year, we are still best friends. And that's something that I don't know if I would have assumed for me, because, I'm kind of to myself sometimes, certain interaction with certain people, or you just hear horror stories with roommates. And so we clicked immediately when I moved into the dorm first, and so she came in, like all of my stuff was already there. I see her parents come in, and what she told me, like after we first met, which was so funny to me because it's very me, she said, I knew that we were going to be like close because like as soon as my parents walked in, you were greeting them like hey, how you doing, my name is Lauren. So she was like, I've never had someone like initiate like that. And I was like, yeah, that's just me. Like, yes. I don't yet. And I was like, I really want to be intentional about making a good relationship, because we do live with one another. But we didn't even have to do any extra. We had a lot in common. And so I was blessed in that regards, that still have good friends that did vent with, did party with, did cry to. She knows all of my dirty laundry. Every boy that I cannot stand at this point in time, she remembers when I was in love with that boy. So I just, it's funny to think about just like how like times grow and like the people are still close, but see every like season of you. And that was probably one of the things that got me through, I would say, is like just good friendships, solid friendships, so that you can cry 1 minute but then be able to say like, okay guys, there's a cue party later on, like what outfit are we gonna wear? So just ebbs and flows, but all in all, like just a good support system is what you really would need. Not need as if you don't have it, you won't survive, but if you want to thrive, I do suggest find a person or two, because it wasn't like I had 15 friends. I can say I had a solid 3, and then the rest I was super close with everybody, but like those 3 people are the people that you could get anything out of me, and that means a ride into town, It means all of my business. You can tell me all your business, and I'll help you, like give you advice or problem solve, tutor for classes, like all of these different things. Those girls, we were very close.
That's good. And like you said, you didn't have to have a whole bunch. I mean, Jesus had his disciples, but then he also had his people that he wasn't always 50 deep.
Right.
So that is the beauty of college, that you do meet people. I mean, I have some friends, like you said, I graduated 2003. So I have a few friends. We always text and talk. I mean, it's family. It's not your friends anymore.
Right at this point, literally.
It's family. Like, that's my family.
And know your family. Yes. Know your family's family. Been at the family function. And if they're not there, ask, where is she at?
Exactly, yes. And then you get to meet people from all around the world. So that's another beautiful thing. I mean, Central State to me is family. Like once you go to Central, it's like that's family. You know, like
if I meet anyone that says that they went to Central State, I'm like,
yes, it's automatically family. Like you act like you know them forever.
Definitely a nice kinship.
Yes, because I remember when your cousin told me you went to Central State. I was like, wait a minute,
right?
She went to Central State. Oh, I gotta connect with her. It was just automatically, yes.
Now we're linked.
Yes, we are linked. So shout out to HBCUs. I feel like a lot of HBCUs, and especially around homecoming time, it's like a family reunion.
It is a big family reunion.
It's a big family reunion. Just go ahead and play Frankie Beverly. Come on out.
Gotta get my
Before
white,
I let go, get the
my white fit ready.
Yes, go ahead, just play it, because it's gonna be a family reunion.
It sure is. And it's gonna be a line dance to some song that you didn't even know had a line dance associated with it. Yes.
Shout out to HBCU, Central State University. So what advice now would you give to your younger you?
I think that if I was to give young Lauren some advice, it would be two things. It would be to not let your self-confidence be based off of how society views people with darker skin. Because I feel like I always had a decent amount of self-confidence. I was always, able to, believe that I was everything in these different things. But there are definitely some moments I remember where I was bullied for being a dark-skinned, chocolate girl. And just to give her a hug and say, it's okay. Like, I promise you, like, everyone will be jocking your skin in a few years.
Come on now.
He said, if only younger Lauren could see me now. Like, it's crazy that like our skin is almost fetishized now. But back in the day, definitely got all those jokes. I remember one time I told this story, and now I can think of it in a great way. But before, it was like, why would she say that to me? I wore a skirt one day, and someone told me that my legs looked like 2 pieces of burnt bacon.
Oh no!
Never wore a skirt after that. So people need to realize, like, bullying does hurt, and like those things sometimes we stick with you.
Yes.
But I say all that to say, I wear dresses now, I wear skirts now. Like, it's okay. And you grow and you love yourself. But if I was to speak to younger Lauren, that would be one thing I would say. And then the other thing is to enjoy the moments presently, and don't think of the end goal because you're racing to the end goal, but enjoy these moments because 6 months ago you dreamt of where you are now,
right? And
I really had to be intentional about that because I feel like I have very high goals for myself and aspirations, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're always chasing this next thing, you're never going to be satisfied with life, and then you're going to regret your life. And I don't live my life with any regrets. I none at all. So
come on now. Yes. So, I mean, you touched base on a lot of things, especially being of a darker complexion. And her complexion, you guys, is gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. And guess what? She has on a dress. Come on, legs.
Right.
Come on, legs. Come through.
Out, Vaseline on.
Yes. The shea butter, Vaseline all up. So, she is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
inside
you.
and out. That's the inside. Come on now. You can't beat that. I mean, outside people do so much. Come on, but when the inside, it's the inside that matters. But I love that you said that because I'm a darker complexion too. And I feel like you would get, oh, you cute to be dark. Like, wait a minute. What's that supposed to mean?
Because I definitely got that before. And looked at my friend like, what? What does that mean?
Like, what does that mean? So it's challenging. And then I also feel as if when you are a darker complexion, they put everyone in one category. That's another thing. Like, we still have different shades of different skin color. So yeah, shout out to the people embracing every color, honey, because I know every complexion gets it too, but we have to be kind to people. And like she said, that stuck with you. I mean, we both can remember somebody telling us, you cute to be dark. Like, wait a minute, what is that supposed to mean? So just like you said, it's bullying and people need to stop it. Beauty is beauty.
Beauty is beauty,
dark,
for sure.
light, brown, whatever. But she is gorgeous, honey, inside and out. Come on.
Aw,
gorgeous.
thank you.
And then, like she said, live life with no regrets. So I love that because that can start now.
Yeah.
Even though, like you said that to your younger self, we need to live in the moment and stop thinking about the future. Because I have challenges with sometimes about that, like that, such is going to happen. We're so ready for the outcome that we don't enjoy what's going on now. Yes,
right.
Because it's the present, and this is the time that God has given us. So we need to enjoy it because guess what? Somebody didn't have that time. We're waiting for the future.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the future brings.
That's very valid.
Yeah. So that's why God is like, don't worry about what you're going to eat, drink, wear, just worry about, be concerned about the moment right now and live in that. And then when you live in the moment, you do feel better.
You do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels so much better when you're in that moment because you're enjoying where you're at, and that's less stress. Because once you think about the past, it's stress. You live in the past. Then when you think about the future, it's stress because you think about how you're going to get there.
Exactly.
So like you said, live in the moment and no regrets. Yes. So, Miss Lauren, I'm going to have you on next week, but how can we meet you? How can we get in contact, social media, all that good stuff?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Laurie, LAUREEEE _. So that's 4 E's and underscore. And then you can follow my my platform, which is called The Elephant in the Room, which is a politics and pop culture platform, social media page. And so it's PHANT in the room. So it's The Elephant in the Room.
Thank you. Okay. And then also, you guys, if you want to sponsor this show, you are more than welcome to contact me, Kay Willis, Positive Vibes Talk Show at gmail.com. You can email me, and that's KAYWILLIS, Positive Vibes Talk Show at gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. Like, share, and subscribe to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Check out my book, The Principles of Overcoming Life's Obstacles, a 31-day journey to positive living, available on Amazon.com. Just type Kay Willis. And thank you for tuning in to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes podcast.